Oh, great.
Hello, Ursula. How are you?
Cool. Hi, I'm well. How are you?
Very well. Thank you. I'm glad you could make it. I know you had some conflicts. You got a busy schedule, which is exactly why I want to talk to you.
Great. Thank you. Sorry about that. I appreciate your
No,
understanding. Yeah.
not at
Uh,
all. Not at all. Now, first off, where
yeah.
are you?
Yeah, I'm in my studio. Yeah, it's hard to believe, but this was a year ago. This was a carport, an open carport, full of firewood for our fireplace and garbage cans. And now it's a studio.
I
So,
parked in that carport.
pardon me?
I have parked in that carport.
Yes, you have. I remember actually. Yeah, you have parked in the carport. Yeah.
So
Um,
you're in your studio. So this
yeah.
today, this is not about entrepreneur hot seat. This is about how the heck did you pull that off? Because when we last talked, you were sort of like, I used to teach at a ballet studio,
Yeah.
and it's all in-person stuff, and I have no idea how to start this business and how to start getting people booked in and how to hold my classes
Oh,
when it's not
exactly.
in a studio.
Yeah.
So what'd you do?
Well, first of all, I panicked a bit. It was terrifying. I thought, what am I going to do? I think a lot of people were probably in the same position as I was, thrust into a new reality of what are we going to do? How are we going to function? How am I going to make money? I was laid off because of COVID. I had started a new job, believe it or not, for a ballet studio, a well-known and respected ballet studio in Victoria, BC, in September of 2019, and sort of embarked on this new journey with this new company.
Mhm.
And then, of course, March, April, May rolls around, and by May I was out of a job. So, of course, as they always say, it's like, you kind of have to have the fire underneath your butt to be able to make a change. And
Mhm.
so that was definitely the fire under my butt to make a big change,
Mhm.
to create my own reality. So anyway, I think I was really really super lucky because although it was a bad thing that happened to me, I had wonderful people around me to support me. So of course Joe Girard, who is he's amazing at what he does, and he knows business really really well. So he kind of convinced me that it was something that I could do, because I don't think I would have come up with that on my own.
Mhm.
So of course, there was the whole business aspect of it. That was one part of the issue, which is how do I make a business out of teaching, right? Second thing was how do I teach on Zoom? I have no, I'd
Well,
never
there's a
done
lot of things you
it
can teach
before.
on Zoom, like this stuff, but ballet,
How do you teach ballet on Zoom? Yeah, and I
yeah.
was forced to learn how to do it really fast because we had to move everything online right away. And of course, there was a learning process to it,
Mhm.
but I think it actually has turned into a really wonderful thing. It's You can see a lot more with Zoom than you think that you can once you get adjusted to what it's like.
Whoa,
Uh,
whoa, 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 what? What? Explain.
Well, so a lot of people ask me, how can you even see what I'm doing, right? How can you give corrections? But because I've been doing this almost for a year now, I can see much more on Zoom than I thought I would be able to. Even
Mhm.
small little details like the way that your foot moves this way, the way that you hold your leg this way, what muscles you're using to hold your leg somewhere. So private coaching is actually fabulous on Zoom, because you don't need to travel anywhere and you can do it from any place. And I can see a lot, right? So it's been a huge change, but it's been interesting. And I think I've grown because of it, because I've learned how to teach in this new way.
Now
So,
the camera, you're looking up at a camera, but that is essentially that you can use that perspective when you're doing teaching right now, couldn't you?
yeah. Yeah, exactly. I do. This is usually where I teach most of my classes. So usually this camera will be a little bit further back so you can see more of my body. But now I've sort of brought it forward a bit. But then I have a large screen TV also so that I can see a lot more.
Oh,
And
of the student, so that it's
of the
going the other.
students.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So I've got a large, big screen TV here as well. And then, of course, I was really lucky too because Joe said, well, you've got to apply for Futurepreneur
Mhm.
because I'm a new entrepreneur and not really knowing anything about business. Always swore that I would never have my own business because I always liked being an employee. And I was a good employee and I thought I liked people telling me what to do. Um,
Mhm. Oh, it's nice. I know.
right? It is kind of nice. But so he sort of pushed me to apply for Futurepreneur, and we did, and we got approved because I think that it just made so much sense. in the climate. We applied for it in May, and I think we were approved by June.
Mhm.
And they saw the value in that and what I was trying to create, and also that Zoom classes are probably not going away for a long time, as we're
Mhm.
definitely seeing now,
Mhm.
especially with a second wave and possibly a third wave coming, and all of these people wanting to stay at home and not really wanting to go anywhere.
Mhm.
But I also think that with Zoom, even when we're allowed, I still do some in-person classes, so it's not all on Zoom. But I think even once everything opens up, people are going to stick to Zoom because it's so convenient. So
Well,
there's going to be,
you can teach somebody in France.
yeah, exactly. And even if it's in Victoria, you cut out commute time. You don't
Mhm.
need to commute anymore. So it'll be a combination of both. I think we'll go back to the studio for sure because dance isn't the same,
Mhm.
but it'll be a combination of both.
Awesome. Now, another big one that I want to touch on, um, you can dance all you want, but unless you have somebody to teach,
Yeah.
it's not going to work. So how did you start booking people again? What did you do? I remember we talked about
Yeah.
get the people who love you to tell the people who don't know you,
Yeah.
but what did you do?
Well, that was a huge one for me that you really helped me with, actually being my mentor through the Futurepreneur program. Um, and it was getting testimonials from the people that I had coming to me. So I have a bit of a reputation in Victoria that, I when I put the word out, I had a few people who started coming to me right away, who wanted to keep dancing because everything was shut down at that time,
Mhm.
and they wanted to keep moving. And so those people stayed. And then you had that conversation with me about getting testimonials. And I just kept asking, and I got a whole bunch from the people that were coming to me, and really nice ones too. Also, they were nice to hear because of just a little bit of a boost of confidence, because in
Well,
the
you're bummed out, right?
you have no idea what's going on at the
Yeah.
beginning. So, yeah. So that was a huge step for me, I think, to start asking people, um, for something, which I don't usually feel comfortable doing.
Mhm. Now, Joe also helped you set up like a booking system,
Yeah,
right? Which was
yeah,
massive.
yeah.
And it's always nice to have a Joe in your back pocket.
Oh my
He's really good
gosh.
at that stuff.
I was so lucky. Yeah, he set up my back end. Of course, now I do all of it myself because I've learned it, but I wouldn't have been able to do it without him. But he basically, he had been using something called Book Like a Boss, and it's a booking system for appointments. It's fairly easy to set up. You don't have to create a whole website. So we needed to get something up and running immediately, um,
Mhm.
and we didn't have weeks, we didn't have months to create a website, a really nice shiny website. So Joe pulled it all together within, I think it was a couple of days, and it was up and running within a couple of days. And the booking system works wonderfully. We are going to be changing it a little bit, to create possibly a membership site in the future, so that people are paying monthly and not having to keep, booking appointments and booking
Mhm.
classes in single portions. But it really worked very well for what we needed it to do. So, yeah.
So okay, so you had the member get member, you had people saying, reach out to your friends, and they did.
Yeah.
And you said, tell them how great I am, and they did.
Yeah.
And then you had a really smart guy like Joe, and there's lots of Joes out there on the Brand DIY group website,
Yeah.
group like
Yeah.
Joe. Joe's a member. You want Joe? Get Joe. He's available.
Yeah.
Um,
Good Joe.
so you got Joe, and he basically thought through the entire selling process.
Yeah.
And now it's just a matter of rinse and repeat. And I know the numbers have been going like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was rinse and repeat. And the more it grows, the more people hear about it. Not just in Victoria, but now the word is starting to go out into the world. Actually, I had, on Sundays, I have people join me from Virginia and Massachusetts. Last week, I had somebody join me from Frankfurt, Germany. And so that that actually I'd attribute to social media, because we basically joined. I have someone that I've hired to do my social media, and she's amazing. Her name is Rachel Muhlenberg, and she's been so fantastic with creating amazing posts. And she's joined all of these different dance Facebook groups, and some of them allow marketing on them. And I've gotten a lot of people through that. Actually, that was a big step for me to actually go into the international market. So, so now that's sort of happening as well too, which is
Okay,
really
I'm going to stop you right there. So yeah, I helped you out on that thing. You got Joe to find Futurepreneur for you, and Joe set up the thing, and Rachel Muhlenberg is taking over your social media. To
Yeah,
me, the big lesson right here is you don't need to know everything.
absolutely. Yeah.
Because
I
I mean,
keep getting
it's
people
a
better
scary world,
than
and I
me
think
to do
too
things for
many
me.
of us, just I don't know social media, therefore I have to learn social media.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah.
There's people out there and they don't charge a lot of money and they're really worth it.
And they're really worth it. Yeah. And then I can concentrate on the things that I really do. I don't need to be a marketing guru. I don't need to be
Mhm,
a social media personality. I just
mhm.
need to know what I do well and make sure that when people come, they stay and they get value out of it. And I love what I do. I love teaching. I love seeing people light up when they do a class with me at the end where they get to dance and feel like they're actually accomplishing something. Those are the things that I do. So I give people that value. But the rest of it, I'm not very good at. So I don't know why I would. Uh, yeah, you're exactly right.
But it wasn't like that before. I remember at the very beginning, I like pointing my finger. At the very beginning, I remember you were like, "Oh my God, I don't know this, I don't know that," and that's where
Yeah.
everybody is. Everybody's there,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people just they go the other way. They just go, "I'll never learn that. I give up.
Yeah.
I'm going to go work for BC Ferries or something."
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, I love the idea that you just brought other people in to do this stuff for you, and they start on a small retainer. You build them up. If and did you put her on pay for performance, or did you pay her a retainer?
Retainer.
Okay,
Retainer.
yeah, because
Yeah.
that's one thing that I want to share
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Folks in Brand DIY group, there is also pay for performance.
Yeah.
If you're willing to give people a little bigger cut
Hmm.
because they're taking risk with no return. But if
Hmm.
they believe in themselves and you have a product that's worth buying, they might actually go for, all right, I'll take a smaller retainer and I will take a bigger cut of the
Yeah.
action. It's how movie stars do it. They take a
Yeah.
small pay and a portion of the return on the movie,
Exactly.
you know?
Yeah.
So it's not anything revolutionary, but it is very doable.
It is. Yeah. And
So So
yeah.
talk to me about the future. What are you guys cooking up? I know because Joe never rests. He's always thinking of something else. What's the next thing?
Yeah. Well, the next thing is I'm extraordinarily busy right now because not only am I doing online classes and I've packed my schedule quite full, so I'm working a lot. But I also have private clients who are amazing to work with. So my goal at this point is to try to find how I can um, get a little bit of time for myself. That's the next goal. So working on creating a website and a back end where I have people coming into a monthly subscription,
Mhm,
and having lots of access to a lot of content that they can, because I know that's also something that people do want, is have access to content where they can learn on their own time, and then also have online live classes with me when they want. But I know that they do want the content as well, and that's going to give me a little bit more time freedom as well. If I can create a lot of content for them to be able to access, that means I don't have to be with them every step of the way. And they can still learn and still get something out of it.
mhm.
So give myself a little bit of breathing room.
Well, but creating the content. Another thing a lot of people fall down on, myself included, is creating content's a pain in the ass
Oh yeah,
because
it
you
takes
got to build it, and so it's all upfront investment. But
absolutely.
then later on,
Yeah,
it
later on.
goes on its own.
Yeah, exactly. And I realize that's going to be a long process as well, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah. The
yeah,
work never goes away. It's just
no,
if you the wonder of modern business is that you can create stuff that's evergreen. You teach one class really well and people will be enjoying it for 10 years. I get a lot of people coming into the Brand DIY group from Alacrity who are doing the digital marketing boot camp
yeah,
and they're like, "Oh, I saw your class." And I'm like, "I can't even remember when I taught that class, but it was a big
yeah,
investment of time, 7 videos I put together, all these instruction
yeah.
books and stuff."
That's great.
And
Yeah,
then it went away and I forgot about it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you
Well,
know?
and I think for what I do too, I teach a lot of adult beginners,
Mhm.
and adult beginners sometimes can be very tentative about starting because they always feel like they're not sure what they don't know and they don't know what they're walking into. And so one of the things that I really want to create first probably is going to be a whole series of what you need to know before your first ballet class, right? The
Mhm.
basic positions, what the arm positions might be, just so that so I think that it might give my adult dancers a little bit of security, knowing that they sort of know what they're walking into. So I think that'll be the first step of the next
That totally makes
evolution.
sense.
Yeah,
And you know what? By doing that, another side benefit, you know this, but some folks might not, that you do that for people and they go, wow, she gives a shit.
yeah,
And you give them this added value and they start to go, well, I like her. She's really nice. And she didn't ask me for any money for that. And,
yeah,
she's being really, really nice. It just helps them pull out the credit card a little bit easier. And,
yeah,
Joe's a master of this too. Getting them to pull out the credit card is that first conversion,
yeah.
pull it out again for a bigger purchase. And then
Exactly,
if they're
exactly.
still
Yeah.
happy, they're yours. The beauty of your business too, you mentioned subscription. Um,
Hmm.
and I think that's a brilliant model because if you can bring me in
Hmm.
once and then I sign up for a year, then you bring another one of me in. I mean, your marketing costs are
Absolutely.
down, down, down. So if you can win them over and make them like you and make them pull out their credit card, you don't need that many people to build a sustainable business
No, absolutely not.
if it's
And
if it's sort of a
I have a lot
subscription.
of people too, and it's sort of a way of giving back to the people that have been with me and take a lot of classes from me.
Hmm.
Because for them it'll be beneficial because they'll actually be paying less than they probably are now. I've got people that are doing almost every class that I teach because they're just really into it, right? So if they can lower their monthly costs, and come to as much as they want in with the subscription, or with the membership module, then I can have people who come once a week who it'll also give them an incentive to keep showing up because
Hmm.
they know they're paying the money. And,
Hmm.
if they don't come this week, there's that incentive. Like I should probably try to make the most of what I've spent for this month. Right. So, I think it's a benefit for everybody. So I'm really looking forward to that transition when it comes.
I think you got to be one of the things we're putting together for BrandDIY, that website. Chris Burge and Chris Whiteley, they're also members here. They're putting together the website with all the new products on it. There's going to be a whole
Yeah.
whack of stuff. And Chris Burge, I got to know him because he organized the Soho conference and social media camp. So he's a conference organizer.
Oh,
So
wow.
one of
Yeah.
the things that we're together now is BrandDIY conferences. And so you're going to be talking at one of those. So
Oh my gosh. You're scaring me now. Don't do it.
no, but I mean, this is what this group was formed for, things like this.
Yeah.
People who come on and they go, I don't know what to do, and then they come back 6 months later and they go, I did it. It's
Yeah. Well, when you asked me to come on as an expert, I thought for sure you'd lost your marbles, but
yeah, I have, but that's why I'm doing this, because my marbles have gone. They've left the building a long time ago. But no, you have to take some credit where credit is due, because you've done some really cool stuff that for a lot of people is a bridge too far. And I think the credit goes to Joe too, because he made sure that you didn't do the stuff,
no,
because you'd still be back there figuring out
yeah,
a booking system if
yeah,
it wasn't for
yeah.
farming it out.
Well, and just he was excellent. He was almost in a way when we put together what the business is going to look like. He helped me figure out the vision of what I was trying to create because I had no idea. I just wanted to teach. So he was definitely a visionary in that sense. So he actually he tried to get me to understand what the vision could be. So
Yeah.
I don't think I would have figured it out.
Well, but that's another thing. I mean, I think that'll be the final thing. We got to go because I don't want to take too much of your time. But
Yeah.
the final thing is actually being able to figure out what this thing is going to be when it grows up
Exactly.
is huge,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. What are we doing? What's the goal? How, and you have to have some sort of vision for that. Otherwise, what are you going to build up to? So,
Yeah. Now,
yeah.
that's I personally, I see in your future, I see bringing in other teachers. I bought this yoga
Yeah.
program because I got to get bendier. And
Come to my program. You'll get bendy.
yeah, whatever, ballet, whatever. I'll feel like a chihuahua in a tutu.
Dance is for everybody, Mark.
I'm
That,
embarrassed. I'm an adult learner and I'm insecure. I don't know if you have programs for that.
I absolutely do. Anyway,
Oh, geez.
I'm going to work on you.
I'm running out of excuses. But
Expect
anyway, I
soon.
got this yoga thing and it has all beginner, intermediate, advanced, 10 different classes in each, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But
Great.
then it also has a whole series from this guy named Rodney Yee or something like that, who's like a famous yoga guy. And they have different teachers coming in and giving one or two, like a vinyasa class or a, I don't know what,
Mhm.
Cucamonga class.
Yeah.
And they do these classes. And so you could bring in like guest instructors too. And suddenly there
Yes.
you are, you're running the studio. You were working for the studio and now
Yeah.
you're running the studio.
That is actually thank you for the reminder. That is actually the next step, and that was something we even wrote in our business plan way back in the beginning. Is soon it's going to be a collective of teachers coming in to teach, not just me. So that's the
That's
other
awesome.
step of the plan.
And
Yeah.
once you have their content, you give them a kickback every time somebody downloads, but
Mhm.
you've got evergreen content from all these famous teachers.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be exciting.
Yay, go team.
Yeah.
All right, I'm out of here. I'm going to
Excellent.
post this up. And folks, if you want to reach out to Ursula, sign up for onlineballettraining.com.
Yes.com.
Onlineballettraining.com. I'll make sure to reference it in the show notes. Let's see if we can get some BrandDIY folks coming out. But especially, folks, if you want a little motivator, talk to Ursula because everybody's stuck. We're all in the same boat. And I think that what you've learned and can teach now is invaluable.
Well, thank you for letting me talk about my small business that I started.
We need it. We all need it, man. We all need encouragement.
Yeah.
Good work.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Thank
Talk
you
to
so
ya.
much, Mark. Okay. Bye.
Bye.